Wow, what a weekend, and what a weekend it was, Keith.
Yeah.
We're now in post-Preakness era here at Maryland Racing, but I'm still reminiscing on the wonderful weekend that we had throughout Friday and Saturday, Keith.
Got to shake those post-Preakness blues a little bit. Yeah, it was a tremendous weekend. Great cards. Congrats to the connections of National Treasure. We had some really good performances all the way through the weekend. And, turning the page and heading into this week, into the remainder of the Pimlico meet, we've got some targets, some betting targets out there for you in this Jackpot High Five, the Pick Six.
Yes.
So kind of get back in gear here, handicap gear. It took a little bit to get back at it, but I've been busy. We've got draw every day.
No
It
rest
seems
for
like
the wicked with
we're
you.
drawing races. But yeah, so we're going to have some fun here over the next few days, maybe weeks.
Absolutely, and we'll kick off today at the races in race number 1, which does kick off the early pick 5. And let's go ahead and take a look before we get ahead of myself. Let's turn back at the track that was just the host of the most last weekend here. Taking a look, things are looking pretty good, Keith.
Absolutely. This is a beautiful weather. We've had a tremendous stretch. So if you can get out here, join us. I know we've got some tents and all still up here and everything. Get a seat out here on this apron, or to the little terrace box seats to the right of me. Phenomenal. Main track fast, turf lush, firm, ready to roll. Track played pretty fair, I thought, Preakness Day, leading into a slight little outside tinge on the dirt stayed there, but all in all, fair there, definitely on Preakness Saturday.
Now we can continue today at the races here in race number 1. Early pick 5 kicks off, and this maiden claiming 45. Short on the turf, 5 furlongs on the turf for the girls, 3 to 5. Scratching the 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Leaves us, Keith, you and myself, with the number 8, Mashua. If we could take a look at that race back from last year on November 19th.
Yeah, it's a maiden 16. Kind of towards the bottom level, right, for the maiden claimers on the turf. Mashua, it's third time on the turf. She runs really big here, just kind of tracks the pace, works in between horses, continues on very well. Only beaten 3 parts of a length. Princess Palmer was a decent old turf horse. I think I was the Sana Lamri, if I'm not mistaken.
You are not.
And she comes back off this layoff. Hasn't been seen since my birthday, December 29th of 2022. And looks like a little bit of raising class, but to me, looking at the competition, a step sideways. I like the positional speed, should be fresh, ready to go. On or just off the lead for Mashua in today's opener. Clouds of White, you've got into the mix. Callie, Michael Trumbetta, this one off a long time. Last seen as a 2-year-old in 2021, right? But you go back 2 races back on the page, the sprint at Colonial against the boys, very good. And Trumbetta has been okay with this move off of these really long layoffs, plus 180 days. 2 for 6, 23%, 4 for 6 in the money with these maidens on the turf. So it works here. This horse, kin to some really good horses. Street Copper, Sky's Not Falling. It's there.
Yeah.
Can she shake out the cobwebs here and get it done off this long break?
I'm looking forward to seeing it. And then just to give you a bit more storyline on Mashua, I was getting on that filly when she was in that time. She wasn't the happiest in these first, second type of starts. She suddenly turned the corner after that race at Pimlico, and she became just a happier horse in the morning. And then it was just made clear that this filly is just strictly a turf filly. Absolutely. So I think this filly, with what I've seen with her from last year, and she seems to be putting in the works to showcase that she has improved coming into her second year of running. I think I absolutely agree with you in saying that this filly stepping up today, it's not a concern for me at all.
I agree. Let's touch on a couple more real quick. Quick K, I'm going to try the turf for the first time. Golden Lads, so. You don't really see a whole lot in the family, but this horse, she brings speed to the table. We're going to go second time Lasix. I think there's not a ton of true speed in here. Could work to her advantage. I throw Never Free into the mix. The 10 on the outside. Only turf try against Skylar's sister, Up For It, who came back to run an incredible third here last weekend with a solid buyer of 66 and Maiden Special Weight Company. Lasix going on outside speed could be dangerous.
Going the 5 furlongs, absolutely there in race number 1 as Keith Fusel goes 8, 6, 3, 10. Race number 2 does kick off the early pick for Keith. As per usual, you've got a ticket for us. No singles today.
And it's kind of jumping above the limit I like to go to. 24 is usually
it.
the high. $30. Hopefully you did well gambling on Preakness weekend. You have a little extra money because you're going to need it some of these races moving forward, Callie. Man, tomorrow, Saturday, got a lot of races with favorites, morning line favorites in that 4-1, 9-2 range. So it's going to be a challenge. Race 2, I only go 2 deep. Key scratches, and we have a couple key morning line favorites are out today. St. Jude being one of them here in race 2. That leaves me with the one asking for a baskin. Brilliant ice for Annette Eubanks. Race 3, we spread. I mean, all over the map. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 8. I do have a value shot in there in the 3, Sagrada Ray. We're going to go three deep again. Race number 4 with the 5, the 7, and the 8. Race 5, wrap it up. See if we can whittle it down to 2 horses, Uncle Ernie and Witty, 2 crack sprinters.
Oh, yeah.
They look to be very strong there in race 5, but a good race. Kind of like a stakes race there
in
the middle of our card today.
And
$30.
We'll get to that. We'll get to race number 5 in a couple of minutes here, but let's turn back the tables to race number 2. As you mentioned, Keith, you go 2 deep in this race in the first leg of the early pick 4. In this allowance, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds, and up scratch in the number 7, Twice Gold. Big scratch in the number 9, St. Jude. You and I both keep on the rail horse. Morning line 10-1, but I love it. Asking for a baskin. Rudy Sanchez, Solomon, Thais Pustina, a wonderful performance at a starter optional last time out, and taking and gets a little bit of luck with the scratch, obviously, and stepping it up here today.
Yeah, price will just plummet.
Right.
St. Jude, I had line 7-5, could have been even money in that range because you were comparing buyers. A couple of those horses ran the same day as St. Jude's 89. And we're touching, lower 70. So St. Jude was going to take a slew of play. But asking for a baskin, I had a tough beat last time, was able to work between horses. There was a lone speed out there going fast, closed in, just got nabbed by He Hate Me. This horse has had the ability to pair up good numbers. I think he's going to do that today. Needs an alert break from the inside. But with the scratch of St. Jude, who's your real speed type in here? I'd like to see this horse put into the race in a forward spot by the time they hit the turn, because you're really looking at it. We've got a field of a bunch of chasers. Maybe Abuelo Paps will be aggressively ridden from the outside, but I like the position that we're going to get, I think, with asking for baskin. I think you can pair up that number, and the price should be right. Brilliant Ice, no chance last time, completely eliminated when stumbling and put in tight, a wide trip. Couple good sprints back-to-back, just needs to come back to that form. It will be tough to deny.
It comes back to a bit more of a reasonable level here today with Brilliant Ice. I just want to see it, but I want to see that confidence, because sometimes with a horse like this, when they get overmatched, once they get confidence, they're great, but once they get overmatched, I want to see them mentally, how they come back from that. So that's why I just cautiously left this one off of my ticket, but a clear one to go for here in this race. You also include the number 4 Magic Mule. Why not? Carrie Holbein, Angel Cruz, just steadfast and ever the consistent gelding.
Somebody asked me yesterday, I was talking, and I said, well, this horse owes me no money.
Right.
Does any horse owe you money? Magic
No.
Mule is a horse that owes me money. I've been chasing Magic Mule quite a bit. I've been a fan. Some of his better races have been over this racetrack. That's the key. He's shown some speed on occasion here in the past, so going to toss him in there along with Manolito. A few of these horses, they kind of just look like the same. We've got a couple races like that where 4 or 5 horses really tough to split. Let's move to the third.
Let's see if we can get an exciting finish to start off the first leg of the early pick 4. Let's go ahead and do the second race number 3. Wow, excuse me. Recovering from Preakness weekend still. But, of course, as you can see, the Rainbow Pick 6, we do have a wonderful carryover. 360,855. That, hopefully, we'll have a little bit more in it by the time we get to race number 3. Just laying down my ticket. I originally did not have a single on my ticket, and I take a gutsy single in the nightcap on a 12-1 shot, but then rotating back up to the third race, 3 deep here in 1, 4, and 6. I do like the 4 Seville Row, which we will have a video on that one in a bit. Race number 4 in that maiden special weight. Why not? You have to go with a Jerry Robb and then a Salzman horse, but then you do have some Brittany Russell first-time starters in there, so you can't discount that one. I'm not saying it's a wide open affair, but I would be amiss if I didn't go a bit wider in that race, just because it's 4.5 for the babies there. Race number 5, I go 3 deep with 5, 6, 7. I go with Woody as my top selection there in that race. We will get to that in a second. But race at number 6, I go 3 deep as well with the 1, 7, and 10. And, of course, just to wrap things up in race number 7, 2 deep there with the 7 and the 9, Dr. Jeff and Zirmed. in that allowance optional, claiming 5 furlongs on the turf. Some good races coming up, as you mentioned, Keith. But let's get back to one that's plenty good enough to keep things kicking off here for that Rainbow Pick 6. Again, a really nice $360,000 pool to get in and involved in this claiming 25 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going a mile and 16th on the turf. Scratch in the number 6 Bonded, bigger scratch in the number 9 Stimulus Maker. Keith, you have the number 3 on top, Sagrado Rey for Gary Capuano. Axel Concepcion, of course. We've got this one first after the layoff for Gary Capuano. You know what that means, Keith.
Oh, he's been very good. Long after the layoff, high percentage, solid ROI, year in and year out. Just to touch upon this pick 6, though, $360,000 in the carryover. A lot of people want to sleep. Well, okay, I'll kind of wait and I'll just follow and maybe kind of dive in the last day or so when it's a mandatory. The cards here that have been laid out upon us, you may want to just dabble every day because you don't want to get left out. That's the key with the pick 6. I'll say that. I definitely will be playing day in and day out because they're that challenging. And if somehow we escape, I will be gone. If
there
I
we
get
go.
this ticket. I'll be. Everybody be happy. I'll be out of here. So that's good. But Sagrado Rey, I mean, Callie, I'm looking at the field. Key scratch. You said it. Stimulus Maker was part of that flow. That leaves us with a pretty paceless race. Turf, we saw speed early in the meet here. Pretty good, pretty solid. Well, Sagrado Rey has shown speed on occasion, has been able to carry the speed. First time on the turf, but bifrosted, about 8-9% turf. Okay, tap it. But out of them, I go over Cristiano Doro, solid bottom side. Second down, multiple winner on the turf with a 94 top. Taking a shot. This horse is ready. Get to the front, nurse, and release. The price is going to come down a little bit, I think, off the 10. But I think we've got a live shot here with Gary Cap and Sagrado Rey.
I believe it. The only thing is that I'm not quite as sure as we're going to have as quick of a turf as we did on Saturday. Just talking, just hearing some talks in between management. They will be adding. I think what they did do is they didn't add enough water to it before that race because we were expecting some rain.
Okay, yeah.
So they did add that water. So I don't think it's going to, again, you bring up the subject that we need a pace setter in this race, and I absolutely do think Sagrado Rey will be a part of that, which I think is going to heavily influence that price of 10-1 going down, as you mentioned. But he's not going to get it completely easy because I don't think the turf is going to be that fast as it was last weekend. But everything else I absolutely abide by. Let's talk about the number 4, Seville Rowe, Suzanne Stenius. Forrest Boyce gets the call today from Kevin Gomez. Let's go ahead and take a look at that race earlier in that 2023 debut.
Yeah, and it was looking promising until now. It settled back off the pace, was able to save ground past the 3/8. Unfortunately, had to tap the brakes there around the turn, then shifts out top of stretch. Here we go, block, angles out. Now, I would have liked to seen a little bit more kick the last 1/8 of a mile. Yeah, had that hindrance there in mid-stretch. I wanted to see just a touch more punch. But second off a bench, a couple good races over this turf course. You've got Forrest Boyce, one of the best turf riders around, to settle in, save that ground. Now, he's a type of horse. He does not have big acceleration. He's kind of that grinding type. So I do not need that momentum stop. We've got to get him to a spot maybe by mid-turn on that final turn. Then let's make a decision.
He needs to be there.
And get him to keep going, to keep that momentum going. But, yeah, touching upon Sagrado Rey again, and you made a good point about the turf, adding a little bit to it. The turf breeding is there. And like I say, I just think it's favorable. If anything's going to even enhance his chances, is his tactical speed.
Sure.
And he's shown to be able to kind of sit and move into it. Who do you have on top here? You got Seville on
I
row.
do.
You got Super E here, who I think is going to escape at a good price for Hammy Smith.
I agree. And I'm also, again, I'm going, at this time of year, I go a lot off of how that horse is and as an individual, first or second off of the layoff, which is where I come up with Seville Rowe on top, and which is where I come off with Super E on top. You go back to the 1st of July. That was second off of the layoff in 2022. A nice win, a nice flashy rally that this horse had. A nice closing, really speedy turn of foot that he improved on from that first time effort with William Humphrey on top. You get Angel Cruz, so I'm not saying I'm worrying, but as long as Angel rides this horse like a proper turf horse, then that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's a horse off the bench, ran against the likes of Open Company, Boats Are Rockin', horses like that. This is a condition claimer. Hellman has run well. Boy, they got lucky, the connections, didn't they? They got a little DQ and a whip violation on March 18th off the claim. Was able to save that two in life and dusted it off the turf. Has prior dirt for him. Farrier Barn rolling right along. I think, looking at it, he might have even a little bit more positional speed today against this group. Callaway Peak, credible numbers, a little bit of a deeper closer as well. Interesting. I think it's a spread race in race 3 again.
I agree.
4 or 5 of them look almost identical with their running styles, with their figures.
Yep.
So there you go. My stranger is the 3.
There you have,
Okay.
and 458 to back that 3 up for Keith Fusel there at the first leg of the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's go on to race number 4 in this maiden special weight, going 4.5 on the dirt for the straight 2-year-old girls. Scratch in the number 3 robbery. Keith, you and I both have Bucking Great for Jerry Robb. Angel Cruz gets the call, but you've got a stat coming up on Jerry Robb, don't you? There we have it.
There you go. Last 3 years been good. Been money every year in and year out. 7 for 31, 23%, 17 to 31 in the money. The 2-year-old maiden's coming back, second career start, ROI of 268. This one ran well. Off maybe a hiccup slow. Got in, contested the pace, shook clear. Got beat by a horse that just ran big. Low mileage, just Salzmore, really, really big horse. Ran a big race. So I think off of that stat, proven speed, I think we'll stay fine just today at the 4.5.
Absolutely. You also have the number 7, Just the Thing, with John Brasino on top. Golden Lad, 17% with his second-time starters.
Yeah, compared with carried out time, very similar to the top selection. Might face a little bit tougher group here today, but just needs to bring something like that back. Has some finish. The 8, I'll throw in Tina. Unfortunately, we lost Tina Turner yesterday.
Yes.
So I'm sure Robin will have something ready to rock for this one if it happens to get it done. But looking at it, here's a little stat with this owner-trainer combo with Brittany Russell, right? 6 for 17, 10 for 17 in the money with first-time starters over the last 3 years. That's a big strike rate. 298 your ROI. Second dam did win debut.
There we have it. Tina in honor of Tina Turner here today. Keith Fusel goes 5-7-8-2 there in race number 4, and we will be right back after this commercial to talk about the rest of Back to Pimlico's card. Welcome back, and we're going to get back to things here in race number 5 in this allowance optional, claiming 55, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the number 2 Chateau, scratch in the number 8 Hopeful Treasure. Smart moves because we have a talented pack of older horses here today. Starting, Keith, let's go ahead and start with your top selection, our shared top selection in Witty for McLean Hendricks gets Javian Toledo. Let's go ahead and take a look at Witty from that effort last time out against Wonder Where Craig is.
Yeah, Witty, he has a little issue, and this is back April 13th, of getting out of the gate. Okay, this particular day, but he's going to have to kind of work through some traffic and, wonder what Craig is. Got the duel. They were going quick, right? Baracho. It just isn't quite able to kind of overcome everything. You're going to see this little move turning for a home, and then just going to keep on grinding and grinding and grinding. Crack sprinter is Witty. You're going to go 4th off the bench. Not a terrible try last time I went hung out at Parks, but I love the flow that you're going to see in front of them today.
Absolutely. Talking to the connections, they felt it was somewhat of an experiment to run him short back from that run at Laurel to then to the Paige McKinney. So I think that was a big thing. So clearly this horse has a bit more time now and has had a bit more time in between races. So he's going to be a bit fresher. We're going to be I feel like we're going to be seeing that effort here again. Toledo, as far as finessing traffic though here at Pimlico, I think he does a fine job. So I like the changeup, not the changeup, but I like the opportunity of what we're going to see with Toledo here today. I think he's going to handle Witty very well.
Yeah, Uncle Ernie, you've got pick 30. He's going to take a lot of play. I think he's going to end up your favorite here. Just good race after good race after good race. And you got Paco still on, right?
Yes,
as far as we know.
we know.
Coming down. I know he was going to ride St. Jude, but going to be here for this one. I think, interesting drawing inside of Aracha, who's really, really quick. And he's got John the Bear also there, and Kenny had a notion. That first 16th of a mile eighth of a mile is going to be critical for Uncle Ernie. Think he has the ability to kind of ease just off of him and make that move around the turn, or you think he's got to be aggressive and hold position and duel for the lead?
Here's
What
the
do you
thing:
think?
I'm gonna sound a bit contradicting, but it's a little bit of both. And when I say that, I'm referring directly to that last effort in the Paige McKenney. The only thing I'm looking for that same performance that we saw in Paige McKenney, but he's gonna be in between horses. So as you mentioned, you might as well try and. Here's the thing: it's Paco. You're gonna try and go. You're going to try and go and see how manageable and how relaxed you can keep this horse in between horses, because that's 100% what you can expect to happen for Uncle Ernie. But what I like is that he did show a little bit of doing that last time out, and I love. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the opportunity of the extra distance like he did in the Paige McKenney last time out to be able to have that come back again type of reaction once he could. Because once it gets to the top of the stretch, things do open up a little bit as far as spacing in between horses. That's where things spread out a little bit, and that's where Uncle Ernie has shown that he's been able to, upon getting some room, kind of get a second wind and then come at it kicking. So that's what really sets things up interestingly for me. But what I also like is what I don't like is that he, with the speed in here, is going to be badgered the entire way around here. Now, the last time we really saw that happen with him and where he was pretty successful at that is back on October of 21st, back in 2021. So you have to wonder if this horse has mentally developed a little differently now coming into 2023. So this is a renewed challenge for him, which I'm very curious and interesting. I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if he ends up kind of answering that challenge with a yes, I've got it. But I'm so attracted to Woody in this race that I can't. With Uncle Ernie, it was very hard for me in between these top three horses. So I ended up with Woody on top, and just because Baracho was on the outside, that's how I went about with my selections.
All right, there you go. I mean, it looks to me Woody is the dependable stout closer maybe in the field. That horse is going to maybe make that sharper run from the quarter pole home. Uncle Ernie off the 7/8. Maybe the speed dulled just a touch, and I kind of hope so.
Right.
I hope those couple horses just surrounding him go. He just eases just off of them. He did it a couple races back behind Candyman Rocket, who ran big in a grade 3 in New York. So I think Paco, he'll get it done. You know, he'll be right there. These two, hard to separate.
It's hard to separate. And right, with Baracho, I think the horse is on such a good roll right now. Now being in the barn of Jamie Ness, it's something I just can't deny. So I'm very curious about how that fifth race is going to shake down. So there we have it. Keith Buesel 7-5-8-6 there in race number 5. Race number 6, of course, is our jackpot super high five. We've got a carryover of $310,284. So please get in on it, because people are we have plenty. They've been hitting these tougher cards at pools smaller than this. So like Keith said, go with Keith's advice. Be involved every single day until this hits, because you just never know what's going to happen. So, and it does happen here in this maiden claiming 45, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Keith, for the straight 3-year-olds, you have the number 3, Calming Storm, Robbie Bales. I love that, because I fought with this horse on and off my ticket. Sheldon Russell just not dwelted, but pretty close to dwelting at the start, comes back second time. But Robbie Bales is pretty good from Laurel to Pimlico in general.
I just, looking at the race, it's a maze to me. I think a lot of play will come in on the 10 pay zone, maybe rightly so. Might come out of a little stronger race. The straight maiden special weight down at Gulfstream Park. The blinkers go on. Weaver with success over here the last several years. Maryland bred, they kind of find the spot, right? They come north with the Maryland bred, and will be put into the race early. There's a couple of horses might have some say, though, early on, that might have to be forced to be sent, inside to kind of keep pay zone company. So Calming Storm, I just need a little bit better break. I like the horse, the way he finished up. He gets an extra 16th of a mile today. So, yeah, caught wide and last. I think we'll be able to save ground around this turn this afternoon and make a run into it at a fairly fair square price. Pay zone, we talked about that winner came back to run a good number of 73 next out. Practico, you got that one. Super Accelerate. This is a horse for a barn that doesn't take a slew of play with first-time starters. Did back in debut at 2 on October 14th. Play again, not great. Another dull try, but freshened up November to February. Big effort. Now coming back, Mine Run came out of there to run big, to run a good number for Brittany Russell. So things might be starting to click. A little maturation for the 7 Super Accelerate. And I don't think he necessarily needs the lead either. He was on it last time. I think he can go ahead and stalk and move in. 3:10.76 in a wide open race 6.
Absolutely. So there we have it. Let's go ahead into race number 7. Another super interesting race here in this allowance optional claiming 40, going short on the turf. 5 furlongs over here at Pimlico. Remember that. For the 3-year-olds and up, Keith, you have number 9, Zyrmid on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at, not Zyrmid. We're going to have a video a little bit later on a different horse, but Zyrmid, hard to deny with Kathleen DeMasi. Victor Carrasco, also hard to deny on the turf as well. But this one, second off of the layoff. Just in the barn with the stat, Kathleen 22%, but as an individual as well, you just look back to what happened in 2021 off of the layoff and in 2022 as well.
It was razor sharp last time out there. There wasn't quite as much speed in that race. He was able to get out there, so that was a good kind of prep return. Okay, now we're going to go a little more, heavy heads, tougher competition here in race 7. But that outside draw, the speed that he brings, I think if he clears, which I think he can, into the turn, I think he's able to control it and go. Yes, there's some quick horses inside, but I think he might be the speed of the speed. Now, things get crazy up front. Momos.
Yes.
Momos with the late breaking blinkers off. Had been running with blinkers of late up the 6 furlong race last time in New York against Dr. Jeff for Brittany Russell. Really didn't fire. I think he's best suited at 5, 5.5. Got races back on his page, and we'll go to the video, if you'd like, guys, of November 6th of 2022 at Laurel Park. We're just kind of tracking. A good tracking spot, is able to kind of work through to the inside. He's another one. Not a sharp punch, but enough that I think it's going to work here with what's in front of him. You get some of these horses just chasing Zyrmid. He's going to fall into a good spot mid-turn, and bring that kind of chugging type of run.
I think it helps when you have that many horses that are going to be chasing after the speed at the distance. My only concern is that if this horse is going to be able to do it at the straight 5, but you bring up an excellent point that there's going to be plenty chasing, with the propensity of many falling apart just at the perfect time for this guy, for things to open up right away for him at the wire.
Yeah, it's like I say, he doesn't make that big move.
Yes.
It's kind of that steady grind, and I think that you're going to see a couple of them just fading away, and he'll be able to kind of work his way up to contention. Yeah, Dr. Jeff was dead set. He got involved in a pretty good battle last time out at 6 furlongs. Now coming third off the bench, third Lasix, shortening up. He may not necessarily need the lead, but he's seasoned enough now to just stay there. He can handle that flow and stick around for a piece. If not win it, but I'm going to keep riding along with Zyrmid. Kathleen DeMasi, year in and year out with these turf sprinters.
Yep.
You had Dubini, Joy Royale, everything lovely. She just done a phenomenal job with the turf sprinters.
And there we have it. Both of us with the Kathleen DeMasi horse on top there in the 7th. And our nightcap here for Thursday racing here at Old Hilltop post-Preakness events is a claiming 10,000, going 1 mile and 16th on the turf for the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the big horse number 4, Mr. Cellier, was your 8 to 5, and now Keith, you and I land very differently here, because I frankly with this race is a head scratcher for me, but you land on Jones Falls. For Tim Keith, Forrest Boyce gets the call here, but it's the drop down really that's the biggest attractor in this one.
Yeah, we talked about the horse early in the card, a big scratch, Mr. Cellier, who's probably going to be a single for a lot of people at 8 to 5 on the morning line for Claudia. We'll wait another day, but Jones Falls, little hunch bet. Jones Falls right down the street. Yeah, negative drop, a big drop here for Tim Keefe.
A smart drop.
Going to go first time. Right, the numbers saying, hey, you need to hit towards the bottom. So second time Lasix on the dirt, I think, was held up a little bit after a stumble. They didn't go super fast, just had no chance 2 races back. So looking again, the flow, I think he can be in it. I think he can be close early, and we'll see if he stays around.
Okay, we will see if that happens. You'll also go with Orakovics for Rudy Sanchez-Salmon. Victor Carrasco takes the call on Rudy. He doesn't ride for Rudy a lot as of recently. 1 for 6 on the dirt in the winner's circle, and then 2 for 6 in the money. But Keith, what's your take on this one? Because again, head scratcher with almost this whole field for me today.
Yeah, it's hard to really trust anybody in here, but inside speed, turf back to the dirt. has shown to be able to stay fairly close at 7/8 of a mile. He doesn't bring that big final kick, but he's got enough just kind of staying style that should work at this class level.
Okay, and there we have it. There, Keith Fusel goes at 7.356 there in that last race of Thursday's racing here on the card. Let's kick ahead to some other highlights here in Lightning Round. Keith, starting off with your value play of the day. Race number 3. Number 3 is Sagrada Rey for Gary Capuano.
Yeah, we talked about Gary Cap off the break is good. This one's bred for the turf. I think gets forward enough, and that breeding just kind of kicks on a little bit. Sagrada Rey, I think, should be around it at a good price there in race number 3. Best bet, we go to race 7. Ziramed, we were just talking about Kathleen DeMasi and all her success with the turf sprinter. This one's fast. Get to the front and just keep on going.
And let's keep on going by going backwards to last weekend. Here we're taking a look at Preakness 148. Bob Baffert getting his 8th Preakness event, and there we go. Johnny comes out first before Irad gets down on him. That's what I really wanted to see that replay was all about, because there was some Irad
came in there again under a little right stick and got him. Yes.
Yep. I tried to Irad, but Johnny there for his first Preakness win after such an illustrious career. So it was great for those connections to get that win as well, and just tied together. Really nice keys. Just a wonderful. Everybody, was kind of hating on the low field, but I always knew that it was going to be a great race by the end of the day.
They got themselves a good horse race. Maybe because it wasn't quite easy go or Sunday silence, but it was pretty good from the top of the stretch home, and that's credit to the jock up top. Was able to kind of get clear, relax, did a little cat and mouse on the rail, just off the rail, slowing things down. And when the challenge came, was very tenacious and got it done after that little bumping through the final 16th of a mile.
Now let's see what else we have in stock as far as changes and scratches go here today for Thursday, and we'll head over to Dave Rodman for that.
Good luck.